Today I'm joined by Mark Wilson from the Australian Rock Collective. And when Mark isn't a quarter of ARC, you know him as the bassist, pianist, and backing vocalist for Jet. Mark, welcome to episode 16 of 50 Shades of Slaids and the Rock Pit. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Now, the Australian Rock Collective are about to hit the road again this June and July with what could be the project's most ambitious show to date. You're performing the Eagles Hotel California in a selection of their greatest hits
Yes,
for us.
yes, yes. I mean, the set list was easy because we've got the first album we do in full, and then if you're going to do a selection of the Eagles' greatest hits, you'd be mad not to play one of the biggest selling albums of all time, which is actually their greatest hits album. So we're going to do that, and there's a few extra surprises in there. Yes, ambitious. I agree. In a different way of like last year, we did Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here. So I feel like that's ambitious in its own way, and this is like a complete left turn and ambitious in that way. Completely different musically, obviously, completely different vocally. But we're always up for a challenge with this band. That's kind of half the reason we like doing it. It's because it's a challenge every year. The year before that, we did Led Zeppelin 4, which again is a challenge. But you know, this is for me as a bass player. This is much easier to play technically,
Yeah.
but some of the songs are quite curly when you don't expect them to be, and something about that kind of country feel. A lot of the songs in the second set will have. It actually is a difficult style to play because it's quite simple, but it's so integral that you are on and the feel is right for every moment of it because the bass is really like it's super supportive. It's not like something like playing a Paul McCartney thing that's super melodic,
Yeah.
you know, and really technical or John Paul Jones. It's actually like athletic playing. This is real feel pocket kind of playing. So it's like that's half the fun of these tours for us is that we actually get to sort of live in someone else's shoes for a bit and just, you know, work out how they play things. And we always like to use the guitars they use, you know, and
Yeah.
everything like that.
So really breaking it down on
Yeah. I mean,
stripping it right back
when,
and looking how do we build this the way they did.
yeah. Deep down, we're music nerds, so you know, we're sort of you know letting our nerd flag fly on a lot of when we do these this arc tour every year.
Mm. So if we go back to the beginning of ARC, I mean, you formed in 2014 on a bit of a whim, and you know
Yeah,
the first gigs like the World Cup in Brazil in 2014. I mean,
yeah.
what a way to kickstart a project!
Yeah, it was a funny one because Darren from Powderfinger, I had a missed call on my phone. It was one of those ones that when the voice went to text.
Yeah,
So I was reading this message going, "Hey mate, do you want to co-play in Brazil? Give me a call." I was like, "Surely it's said Bendigo and it's you know, and I heard him properly or something." And anyway, I called him. I was like, "Yeah, we've been asked to put together a band to go and play for the cohort of all the Australian fans. There's a lot of Australians over there following the World Cup. So there's this big concert in Porto Alegre in Brazil, and they wanted a band. This is well before the World Cup, but they wanted a band to go and play this big concert for all the fans on like a you know, on a big event. And I think Darren had done it before with Powderfinger. They'd gone to South Africa maybe and done it that year. And um, when we got asked, Powderfinger had since broken up. So Darren's put his own band together, and we had so much fun doing it that we thought this is something we could do. So we started playing shows like from you know little festivals and whatnot. We do an Australian version of it with we would play Australian classics. You know, like it's you know covers, but like we play a bunch of each other's songs and a bunch of classics. But it's not kind of the covers you normally would you
expect.
know you would expect. And then one year, I think it was the anniversary of Abbey Road, and Davey was like, "We should go and do Abbey Road," and we're like, "Huh? Could we even figure that out?" And we did it, and we haven't stopped since. We've done one every year for I think this is our seventh year, maybe, of doing these album tours once a year. And for us, it's great. It's like a fun little departure from our own bands, and play different style of music, different with different people, and yeah, it's good.
Different interpretations, I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly.
So, I mean, in the past, I mean, you say you're now the seventh album tour. I mean, you've done Zeppelin's for the Beatles, Abbey Road, and Let It Be, Neil Young's Harvest. I mean, the two Pink Floyd albums, Dark Side and Wish You Were Here.
Yeah.
Aside from being fans of the music, what puts an album into contention?
Um, I mean, we tried to get away. We're trying to get away from doing the anniversary thing because that kind of limits you a little bit to what you can do. This year, it just posed itself as a thing we've been kind of kicking around. I was like, let's do something maybe a bit sort of out of left field for us. And there's always like three or four ideas kicking around, and this one kind of just. I think we all just thought it'd be a really interesting challenge. Musically completely different, like I said earlier, than anything we've ever done. You know, arguably, like I think if you like look at like one of the biggest selling bands of all time, sort of, we just thought, wow, we'll give it a crack, and then it was like obviously being the 50th anniversary of the album, we thought, oh, that's a good excuse to do it, and yeah, that's all. We kind of make up what the idea of what we're going to do on the tour we're doing. So this year we'll be all together and we'll think about what we're going to do next year.
What the next one? Yeah,
Yeah, and because we're all together and we're all got ideas and we all sort of argue the case, and then we'll see who gets the votes. I mean, there was probably three or four kicking around in contention this year of things we were going to do, but someone has an idea and everyone goes, you know what, that sounds interesting. And it's also we've got to keep it fun for ourselves, I guess.
absolutely. Now, I mean, with being seven projects deep now, have you, as the band collectively, documented these performances in any way, shape, or form? I mean, have you
Yeah,
got
actually,
soundboards and video, or
yeah, we actually filmed last year. We sold out Opera House and Hamer Hall last year on our tour. So when we did the Hamer Hall show in Melbourne, we shot it with a few cameras, just to kind of document it. I mean, I think we've also got we've got recordings and stuff of each show as well, like desk recordings and multi tracks and stuff. But I'm not sure what we'll do with them. Sometimes we think, oh, maybe we should, sell them or somehow put them out. But it's kind of like we're on to the next project the next year. So
mm,
the only
so
thing we've doubled up on was we did Dark Side of the Moon one year, and then a few years later we did Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here as a double album.
a double album set? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, every album that you've tackled too has been very different in its approach and
Mm.
appeal. Has there ever been an idea where you've gone, yeah, that'd be great, and then gone, nah, maybe not?
Oh, we were kicking around the idea of doing Sabbath once,
Oh wow.
which would have been cool, but I don't know why we decided not to do that. But that was definitely one that was like almost an option. Um, which would have been cool. That would have been mostly Cram singing that, obviously, being
Yeah,
his voice is like up there, and he can probably. There's not much other room for other people to to do that. But yeah, what else have we kicked around? I mean, this is probably the one out left field that we've kind of talked about for a while and thought, oh, well, we probably won't do it, and then we just decided to do it this year to just see how it goes. But it's pretty fun. It's fun. It's just fun unpacking different music, and it makes you a better musician. You get to live in other people's songs for couple of months, and when I'm touring nonstop with my band at the moment, and any time off I get, I'm in the studio, sort of learning the songs and perfecting all the parts and stuff like that.
putting it all together. So,
Yeah.
I mean, how long does it take and you just kind of touched on it there, but how long does it take to structure a show like this? And obviously, it's not just your schedule that you've got to work in
No,
with three
no,
other people.
there's more than us. So we actually bring extra people on the road for the show. So this year we'll have Jimmy, our keyboard player, who does all the shows with us, and then we've got two friends joining us, Rick Stewart and Eileen. Rick's coming on. They're actually a couple as well. But they're coming on to Rick's adding extra guitar because we need that third guitar for um, all those guitar harmonies, and there's a lot of guitars. When you listen to the album, you're like, holy shit, how many overdubs did they do on this?
Yeah, it's
And then
incredible, isn't it?
we've got Eileen's an amazing singer, and we just need that vocal firepower for this show. So we thought we'll bring in Eileen, and she will cover a lot of that, really like that sort of higher harmony thing that's sort of a bit tougher. But we always like to slightly turn everything on its head, and she'll probably do a solo performance in one of the sets too. Yeah. So yeah, but anyway, so I start working on things quite early. I like to slowly work on them, not like cram it all in into Davey will start last minute and have it all together pretty quickly because he's busy too. I like to just kind of nut it all out slowly, like over the course of a few months, but without putting too much pressure on it. Like I'll do like a 45 minutes here, 45 minutes there kind of thing. That's the way I like to work. Just sort of fit it into my other things. And then we only meet up just before we start touring and do it together, maybe for 3 days. So we don't really rehearse for that long.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic though.
Mm.
It's and again, the caliber of the guys that you're with, Darren Middleton,
Yeah,
obviously Davey Lane and Cram. I mean, you're all exceptionally good at what you do, and but coming from that DNA of that '90s, 2000s Australian rock
yeah.
and roll, do you think that was sharing the road and sharing a lot of those experiences sort of allowed you to bond as people to go into a project like this and
Absolutely.
sort of be quite relaxed in a
Yeah,
situation preparing for it all?
absolutely. I think it's that. And it's also, we've been mates before we did that show together in 2014. We'd been mates for, some of like Cram and Darren have been mates forever. I mean, Cram's the first show I ever went to as a kid, as an underage kid in Geelong, was the Spiderboat show,
Mm.
which is funny. And I remember I met Davey at a pub in Melbourne when we were probably 18. So like we've all known each other for a long time, and I've toured with Powderfinger and been friends with those guys for. So when we got together, it was just like a bunch of old mates getting together to have a bit of fun, now it's all this.
Yeah, it's all
But
gone to
yeah,
the
you're
next
right.
level.
Like you do have the confidence in your bandmates that everyone's going to show up prepared. It's really interesting because like it's good seeing people, like, especially like Darren play. Everyone knows Davey's like an amazing guitarist, but Darren is like so amazing, and it probably didn't get as showcased with Powderfinger, but you see Darren doing solos and stuff. Like he is an absolute gun. Like he's So we've got two pretty incredible guitarists, which you do need for this tour as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, your favorite Eagles song of all time, what would that be?
You know, I love Peaceful Easy Feeling. I don't know why. And I really love, I know it's a cop out, but Hotel California is such a cool song. It's got such a cool bass line.
Mm.
Um, Even though it's like so omnipresent, it's almost like a pastiche of itself. But if when you start listening to it with all fresh ears, you're like, this is a really cool song. No wonder it's so big. Like it's a great tune. It's 7 minutes of pop. It's a pop song that goes for 7 minutes. With a crazy solo.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolute madness. Now, the tour kicks off in Brunswick Heads on June 5th and
Hmm.
concludes in Perth on the 24th, with 6 shows in between: Newcastle, Thirroul, Canberra, Melbourne, Sydney, and Adelaide. I mean, I can't wait for the Melbourne show. Is there a
Yeah.
favourite region or area? You mentioned selling out Opera House and Hamer Hall last time. Is there a favourite venue or a special feeling you get from a particular venue out of
Yeah.
these iconic ones?
I really enjoy playing the concert hall in Brisbane. That's always a great show. And you know what? I mean, every year we have to leave a couple off because we just can't. If you, Sometimes you just can't get into the theatre the night you need to get
Mm.
in. So we always do. We normally start up in King's Theatre in Caloundra, and we normally do two or three nights up there every year. And we just couldn't do it this year because the theatre's booked out. So, but yeah, look, it's Canberra. It's always fun, like because we've doing this 7 years. You've got your things you like to do in the town you're in as well.
Mm.
The Civic in Newcastle's great theatre. Um, it's all everything has its charm. There's a few, like I said, there's a few we had to leave. We normally play Albury as well, which always does really well, but we, again, can't get in to the theatre there. Sometimes you just it's you're everyone's like, why didn't you come here? It's sometimes you're just at the mercy of the theatre's bookings. They might have
Venues and
they often have
availability.
they might have a play in there that goes for 2 weeks. And you just can't get in. Unfortunately, you can't get in on the way you've got to. You can't keep coming back on yourself on touring. It's not how it works.
No, that's exactly right. It's got to be as efficient as possible, I guess,
Yeah,
in this day and age.
especially this day and age. Yeah.
Yeah. So moving away from what's happening with Arc, what's happening with Jet these days?
Yeah, I just got back from Chile last week. Did a show over there, and I've got a regional tour starting at the end of this month. So it starts at the end of April and goes through May, and then we are off to. Then I've got this Arc tour, and then straight after that, I'm off to Europe with Jet for a month of festivals and stuff all around Europe. And then yeah, we're pretty busy, so it's pretty daunting. Pretty busy. I've got Indonesia and Japan maybe in uh, August, definitely Indonesia, and then USA in September. So, and then some more regional Australian shows in October, I believe. They might not be announced yet, so might have got a scoop there.
Fantastic. Super busy though. I think the last time I
Yeah.
saw you guys was supporting Lenny Kravitz
Oh
last
yeah,
year.
that was a really fun tour actually. We had a ball on that, and it was we wouldn't normally sort of do a support in Australia, but they asked us directly, and we were like, that'll be fun, and it was actually great. It was a great show. I think it was a great holistic show, both
Mm.
bands, and
Oh, it
um,
was. Yeah.
yeah,
No, it was absolutely fantastic show. And so new music too, I guess.
just working away at it. You know, we're just concentrating on building that live sort of fan base back up again. You know, we took a bit of a hiatus, so we're that's why we're sort of getting around the world and playing all these places, and then we'll focus on the music when we've sort of got everyone, you know, back on board and seen us play and energized.
Fantastic. All right, Mark. We'll leave you with it. Thank you so much for your time, and
Thank you for having me.
I wish you all a success on this run of shows. I'm sure they'll all be fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Really looking forward to Hamer Hall in Melbourne.
Great.
So
We'll see you there.
yeah, absolutely. But thanks again for your time, and
Thank you.
pass on our regards to the guys,
I
and
will do.
travel safe till then.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thanks, mate.